Ronda Rousey had fighting words for Floyd Mayweather after she received her ESPY award for Fighter of the Year, beating out a Floyd Mayweather who put on the fight with Manny Pacquiao that everyone wanted to see. Although very deserving, she went right for the knockout punch for Floyd Mayweather, stating, actually I shouldn't say stating because we have a piece of that video footage.
I wonder how Floyd feels being beat by a woman for once. Wow. I'd like to see her pretend to not know who I am now.
Wow.
So interestingly enough, Ronda Rousey has been waiting a long time to have the right platform to say those words to Floyd Mayweather, because another video was released of Floyd Mayweather stating that he's never heard of Ronda Rousey, actually stating, I don't know who he is.
How about Ronda Rousey?
I don't know who he is.
That's a woman.
That was Dana White. Dana White said Ronda Rousey would kick Floyd Mayweather.
I thought you were talking. I didn't know who that is.
A lot of guys named Ronda. A lot of men named Ronda.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's those. You know, sometimes you think of great things you want to say to people, and you just, you know, you never get the opportunity. It's usually after the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then if you do get an opportunity, you forget the thing or you mess it up. You know, how does it feel to finally have a woman be outdo you for an award? Damn it, that wasn't it. You know, but you know, she did it. So she laid in wait and she did it. And anything that humiliates Floyd Mayweather in that arena.
Yeah.
What's it going to take? Is he going to have to really, really, really hurt somebody, do lasting damage to somebody, you know, or worse? You know, I hope not. And hopefully, you know, obviously going forward, you hope that at some point people grow up and he thinks, wow, I've done some terrible things, I'll stop. But so far, it doesn't appear to be much indication of that.
Yeah, and it's when you get people that you talk to around Floyd Mayweather, there's no, obviously, beating around the bush. He's a phenomenal fighter. But you just get you see those neutral fans that just are waiting for something to kind of knock him off his pedestal, right? It doesn't happen in boxing because the guy is frighteningly good. That's the bottom line. You can disagree, you can talk about Manny Pacquiao. When we were in Vegas, everyone's like, I can't wait for Manny Pacquiao to just knock some sense into him. It's not going to happen in the ring. But when you get little instances like this, when you get someone who's just giving a slight dig, you can't help but just kind of, when you see it in your newsfeed, you're just like, huh.
Yeah, but I disagree with you that people are waiting for him to get that. I think that, I mean, obviously some are, but I think that you know, we love a champion and we love a winner, and he's unbeaten, and he's, you know, he's going after Graziano's record, presumably. And, you know, we love winners. We love rich people. We love winners. We love them without apologies for the manner in which they got there or what kind of person they are. Like, it's, you know, the fact that he's a good fighter, a great fighter, the best fighter of his generation, I mean, it's a little meaningless as to whether he's a good guy. They have nothing to do with each other.
Still, though, when you're walking around, when you're in Vegas and we're meeting a bunch of basically Americans walking around saying that they
were there,
looking forward.
Were there some Americans in Vegas?
Some
Did that
Americans.
bother you? Was that okay?
No, but there was Americans who were going for
I hope we didn't ruin
Manny
it for you.
Pacquiao. You know what I mean? It's just like going for a guy who's obviously not from the same area, and he just seemed to be the fans' favourite at that point. Because as much as I do agree with you, sports enthusiasts look forward to seeing Mayweather breaking those records. There's a lot of people that just do not like the fact that he is the champion.
Sports enthusiasts. Sports enthusiasts.
I didn't think it was so much that so many people wanted to see Pacquiao knock out Mayweather. It was just the fact of seeing any kind of giant fall in the ring. And when you have that type of villain who is done unspeakable things and has never owned up to them, unlike that of at least Mike Tyson, who has, you want to see someone like that fall. Pacquiao was the hero in that fight situation, which is interesting because Pacquiao doesn't have the cleanest rap sheet ever. This is a guy who's come out multiple times against anti-abortion laws, and I know his political stance for a long time was very controversial, and he was more of at least he was more of a politician in the later stages of his career than he was even a fighter. Yeah. Plus the whole idea of hiding the injury. So it's not like that Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, not to go too much down this tangent, was so much of we want to see Pacquiao knock out Mayweather. It was just we want to see anybody knock out Mayweather.
Yeah.
But I don't you want to see him challenged. I mean, you know, I don't know what you want to see. You want the story, and the story is he going to win? You don't know what you want to see.
We wanted a good fight. By the way, Ben, Graziano's is a delicious Italian bakery in northern New Jersey. Rocky Marciano.
What did I say? Graziano?
Yes. That's Rocky Marciano is a famous fighter who's
49. Oh,
yeah.
Well, so is Rocky Graziano, but he can go 49.
but he does make delicious Italian bread up in northern New Jersey. So bringing it back real quick, though, to Ronda Rousey. Ben, I was curious, your quick thought, because I know you are not a fan of the UFC, and you look at that as a gladiator sport. What do you think of Ronda Rousey, though? In turn, like, I guess as she's become a media darling because she's very captivating, she has a presence. Where's your stance on that? Because she is a UFC fighter.
Look, I didn't know who she was until I saw Entourage.
Really?
So, but you know, I mean, I don't pay attention to, you know, I'm a normal, well-adjusted person, so I don't pay attention to UFC, and because it's a waste of time and it's ugly. But I like her. She's super engaging and she's really good at it. You know, so I would love it if she.
Wait, why is it ugly?
I mean, we took the worst parts of boxing and made them a little worse. I mean, that's essentially what we did with UFC. I mean, look, boxing is horrible. And we would never, I'd like to think as a civilized society, we would never start boxing now, right? But at least boxing has a history, right? Right? UFC is like, hey, you know, boxing is not quite violent enough. These guys with their gloves, and sometimes we have fights like Pacquiao and Mayweather where nobody really lands a punch that makes us turn away in horror. So let's come up with a way to make that happen.
Yeah, well, it's like.
But but that's real quick. But obviously, they're enormously talented, the people who do it, and they're very skilled at it.
Well, there's no defined it. The one thing that has to be is that I don't think that we took it in terms of like the industry just decided to just show something barbaric. It's what everyone in the world basically in a general consensus wanted, because the parts of boxing that people want to see are people getting knocked out, people shedding blood. So when you take a sport like UFC, it's no surprise it's going to be so popular because it's just barbaric and you just...
I know what we should do. Instead of NASCAR, let's just have a race where we just every lap there has to be an accident. Like
it's called bumper cars.
Just every lap is a horrible, hideous accident because that's what people want to see. It's great. We should do that. That sounds terrific.
Especially in a fighting environment. You're trying to say people watch, like, if you're in a general consensus, you hand that survey, people watch boxing because they want to see the tactical side of that. I want to see how many punches they can evade. No, they want to see Mike Tyson. That's why he was so popular. Just smack a guy down and throw the heaviest punches you can see. That's why people watch boxing. That's why people in Facebook, I went onto Facebook after the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. People that have never watched boxing before in their life, just like, what the fuck is this? What is happening? Why have I tuned in? Why have I paid this money? It's because people don't know what boxing basically stands for, and the side of Mayweather is something that is a spectacle to behold because people just want to see the knockouts.
I don't dislike. Look, I'm a hypocrite. I get into boxing when there's a big fight. There have been periods of my life where I felt like I knew enough about it to participate in conversations with people who did. One of the great sports moments of my life was watching the entire Buster Douglas-Mike Tyson fight. I will never forget one aspect of that. But, you know, it's incredibly barbaric, and especially in light of what we've learned in the last 5 years about head injuries, it just seems absurd that we would make something a little more violent. And I don't
with less
think,
protection.
Yeah, with less protection. And you know, look, I got it. I'm on the wrong side of this argument. It's not an argument that I'm going to win. I think there might come a time 100 years from now where we're like, ooh, that was a pretty horrible mistake we made.
Feeling all right today, Ben?
I know, you just admitted.
Admitting to an argument you won't win?
might not win.
Oh, I don't win most arguments. I'm still right, but I don't win them.
That is one way to put it. But lastly, Mayweather's last, I shouldn't say last fight, his last contracted fight, September 12th. The rumor is Andre Berto after Amir Khan and Keith Thurman, two fighters with one-time punching power who could technically knock out Mayweather. He is, I don't want to say shying away from, but he has always been a hand-pick fight type of guy. And I don't think he wants to get into a ring with somebody who can even come close to really challenging that 49-0 mark. So Andre Berto, although not a bad fighter, of course he has stood in the ring with some great fighters, as Robert Guerrero has been. And I mentioned before Victor Ortiz, and although those were losses, Andre Berto is not a
great
fighter.
Shape.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
Not bad shape, but there's a lot of people
that. That's how we'll roughly look when Mayweather fights him.
This is what's going to be said: is people are going to be like, oh, we want to see him fight Amir Khan, we want to see him fight Keith Thurman, and I would love to see it as well. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see a younger fighter go in and challenge him, but
why would he?
Why would he? Why should he? There's not more. Why would he? Why should he? Because he just gave everyone the fight that they wanted to see. Whether you believe that it was a just decision, he won. He fought the guy that everyone
nobody argues with the decision.
Well, no, there is a... Jason, back me up. How many people argue with that decision?
Not
of Berto instead of...
No, of Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather.
Nobody serious thinks Pacquiao won that fight.
That's a lot of people that think
that's the way to put it, though, Ben. Nobody serious, nobody who really knows boxing is arguing that Pacquiao won that fight. But, of course...
They're all saying that it was a disappointing fight.
Well, yes, that's true, but the non-serious boxing fan in themselves who is a diehard Pacquiao fanboy will tell you, quote, watch it in slow motion to see how many punches that Pacquiao landed. Watch it in slow
Did they
motion.
fight in slow motion?
Right.
It could have been.
That's a fight, by the way, I could handle. Like if I could be a professional slow motion boxer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can fight Manny Pacquiao. Ben, you're telegraphing.
That'd be so much. It'd probably be a lot more fun watching that than watching that last.
Tune
Manny
in
Pacquiao
on
fight.
September 12th. It might be free on CBS. Another rumor that is of interest.
Yeah,
to
that's
watch.
super. And that his 50th fight, if he fights that, and I presume that he will,
could he
because why
not?
wouldn't he?
He'll
That would
fight
also,
Rocky Marciano.
That would also. So let's fix that, by the way, because we, in editing, we could do that. So here we go. So I said Rocky Graziano earlier when I meant Marciano. So Rocky Marciano. See, and then you just edit that in.
But tune in September 12th. It might be free on CBS. Ben Mankiewicz versus Floyd Mayweather. Actually, I'm sorry.
Slow
Ben,
motion.
In slow
What's your middle
motion.
name got to be? Because
Yeah, what's your nickname?
You need to have like a Floyd Money.
Can't be
way
money.
with that.
Can't be Ben Money
You know,
Mankiewicz.
Ben Funny Mankiewicz.
Benny the Kid, and it's not bad. Benny the Kind of Jew. It's another good one. Let me give you my slow motion jab.
Will I take it this time?